بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تبارك وتعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. نكمل إن شاء الله تبارك وتعالى شرحنا لرياض الصالحين باب النية، إخلاص النية، ذلك بشرح العلامة ابن عثيمين رحمه الله تبارك وتعالى. ونحن في الحديث السادس، حديث سعد رضي الله عنه، حين عاده النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حين كان في مكة في حجة الوداع. We still continue inshallah ta'ala with our explanation of the meadows of the righteous, with the explanation of Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala. We are still at the bab of niyyah, the intention, hadith number 6, the hadith of Sa'd. And we got to the part where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made the dua for his Sahaba. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم: اللهم أمضي لأصحابي هجرتهم. O Allah, complete and accept the hijrah, the migration of my companions. فقال العلامة ابن عثيمين ذلك بأمرين. وذكرنا لكم الأمر الأول. The migration is complete with two things. The first thing, ثباتهم على الإيمان. A clear condition for their migration to be accepted, the one that they did for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for them to remain steadfast on al-Iman. If the Iman is gone, then subhanAllah, the reward for the migration is gone as well. And if you remember, we gave the example of the two scribes, كتبة الوحي, subhanAllah, يعني ذلك النصراني الذي جاء فأسلم وكان كاتبا فأصبح يكتب الوحي للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، ثم ارتد بعد ذلك فيوم دفن لفظته الأرض. We mentioned that first, that Christian that came and became a Muslim, and he became one of the scribes of the revelation, and subhanAllah, he went back to the people of Mecca telling them that he's the one that used to tell the Prophet ﷺ, used to dictate the revelation to the Prophet ﷺ. The day that he died, they tried to bury him, and the earth kept, subhanAllah, ejected him. He would not stay buried. وهذا عبد الله بن سعد بن أبي الصرح الذي مر من نفس الشيء. Abdullah ibn Abi Sarh, he was one of the scribes as well. وارتد, he, subhanAllah, he relapsed and went back to Al-Kufr, and went back to Mecca, and was telling them the same thing. لذلك هدر النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم دمه. Prophet ﷺ mentioned him as one of the 4 people. When you get to Mecca and you see them, even if you find them holding on to the astar, to the curtains of the Kaaba, you still kill them. Don't give them any mercy. But as I told you, Uthman brought him and he asked the Prophet ﷺ to accept his allegiance, and the Prophet ﷺ did so reluctantly, just out of bashfulness from Uthman. And if you remember, I told you the Prophet ﷺ at the end told them, isn't there one of you that has a little sense to get up? He saw me that I رآني كففت يدي عند الرجل فيقوم إليه فيقتله. And subhanAllah, didn't one of you see that I refused to accept his allegiance for him to get up and to take care of him? But subhanAllah, they said, Ya Rasulullah, you could have given us a sign. قال ما كان لنبي أن تكون له kha'inatu a'yun. It's not befitting for a prophet to have a kha'ina, to give a sign, or to give a wink, or the prophet has to be direct in his orders or his commands. Well, Amr al-Thani, and this is where we stopped 2 days ago, the second thing, أَلَّا يَرْجِعَ أَحَدُهُمْ أحد منهم إلى مكة بعد أن خرج منها. For the migration to be complete, that none of them should go back and live in Mecca after they left it to migrate for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال العلامة ابن عثيمين لأنك إذا خرجت من البلد مهاجرا إلى الله ورسوله فهو كالمال الذي تصدقت به. If you go out and migrate for the sake of Allah and His Messenger, that it is like the money or wealth that you gave for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you go back, it is as if you remember I gave you this example, you gave charity to someone, then all of a sudden you change your mind and you run after him and say, can I get my money back? You don't do that. Similarly, you don't go back in your migration. This, subhanAllah, makes it a must for us to speak about a particular incident that took place with the Prophet ﷺ after the conquest of Mecca. تعلمون أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فتح مكة, that he went and he conquered Mecca along with 10,000 Sahaba. And it was one of the biggest numbers that they've ever seen. So after that, some of the neighboring tribes heard of Mecca being conquered, and they thought to themselves, either we're going to be next, so what we should do, we should be the ones attacking. And that's the tribe of Hawazin and Thaqif, and they put as a leader Malik ibn Auf. And Malik ibn Auf had the brilliant idea of bringing out to the battlefield their wives, their children, all of their wealth. He said, you're going to bring all of your wealth to the battlefield. You're going to bring your wives. You're going to bring your children to the battlefield. This way, you're going to fight. You're going to fight for your stuff. You're going to be fierce, because if you lose everything. And that's what they did. So they got to Wadi Hunayn early, and they prepared themselves. They prepared, subhanAllah, to surprise the Prophet ﷺ. They were 20,000. It was the whole tribe of Thaqif, the whole tribe of Hawazin, and they got the help of some neighboring tribes as well. 20,000 of them, and the Prophet ﷺ was in 12,000. The 10,000 that came to conquer Mecca, and 2,000 that were new Muslims. So they got to the battlefield. It was early morning, still dark, and subhanAllah, to their surprise, the 20,000 were hidden in this wadi of Hunayn, and they got showered with arrows. All of a sudden, imagine, it's still dark, and all of a sudden you see a shower of arrows coming your way. Everyone panicked, especially the 2,000 that were new. But subhanAllah, something happened before, while they were making their way to the battlefield. They made a statement, especially the new Muslims made a statement. They said that today we will not lose because of our numbers. Our numbers are impressive. There is no way that we could lose. Subhanallah. And it's the wrong statement to make, as you have to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and on His victory. He's the one that gives. وَمَنْ نَصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. That victory only comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this, in the face of this shower of arrows, everyone panicked and they started running away. So just to make a long story short, they went from 12,000 with the Prophet ﷺ to 9 with the Prophet ﷺ. Can you imagine that? 12,000, all of a sudden there's only 9 left with the Prophet ﷺ. Everyone panicked and they're running for the hills. SubhanAllah. But the Prophet ﷺ started calling. He got on his ride, on his animal, and started pushing forwards towards the enemy, saying what? أنا النبي لا كذب أنا ابن عبد المطلب رضي الله عنه. And that's why, subhanAllah, just like a little note here. A lot of people, when they hear they say this, they tell you, أنا. وأعوذ بالله من قول أنا. I did. They tell you about something that they did. And I seek refuge in Allah from saying I. And this is a wrong statement. There's nothing wrong with saying I. The Prophet ﷺ used to say, أنا النبي لا كذب أنا ابن عبد المطلب. There's a side note there. يعني if you say إذا قلت أنا إذا قلت أنا لا تقل لا تستعيذ بالله من ذلك فإنه لا حرج في ذلك. You can say أنا as much as you want, as long as there's no arrogance involved or any kind of sin involved. Subhanallah. So the Prophet ﷺ started calling, and he told Abbas to call especially the close ones, the family members, the close companions. And Abbas started calling, and people started paying attention to the fact that the Prophet ﷺ, almost by himself, is going towards the enemy. وهذا من شجاعته صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is from his شجاعة, his courage. And Ali رضي الله عنه وكان فارسا مغوارا كان يقول إذا حمي الوطيس احتمينا بظهر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. When the going gets tough in the battlefield, we used to stand behind the back of the Prophet ﷺ to seek protection. So the Prophet ﷺ did not need the Sahaba to protect him, but he ﷺ was the most courageous of all of them. They used to hide behind him sometimes when things got tough. So, and then all of a sudden, people started coming back, and then we have a battle. We have an equal battle. The two armies stood toe to toe, in front of each other, and then subhanAllah, they almost lost because of this incident. But within an hour, they had defeated this army of Hunayn, of Hawazin and Taqif, and of course taken all of these spoils. Imagine 20,000 people all bring in all their wealth and their children and their wives and everything that they had. SubhanAllah. All of that became the possession of the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba. Allah Ta'ala talks about it in Surah Al-Tawbah. قال الله عز وجل لقد نصركم الله في مواطن كثيرة. This is a backdrop. Allah Ta'ala gave you victory in many places. Badr is one of the most famous ones. ويوم حنين, and the day of Hunayn, إذ أعجبتكم كثرتكم. SubhanAllah. Allah Ta'ala is reminding them. Now you got so proud and you started boasting about your numbers. فَلَمْ تُغْنِي عَنْكُمْ شَيْئًا. But it was of no avail to you. These numbers that you were so proud of, they were of no avail. SubhanAllah. وَضَاقَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْأَرْضُ بِمَا رَحُبَتْ. SubhanAllah. This huge piece of land in which you were doing, that was the battlefield, all of a sudden became so narrow, even though it was very, very spacious, it became narrow for you, subhanAllah. ثُمَّ وَلَّيْتُمْ مُدْبِرِينَ. Then you ran for the hills. ثُمَّ أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ سَكِينَتَهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ وَعَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down His sakina, His tranquility on His messenger first. And the messenger is the one that stood strong, and few of the believers, subhanAllah. وَأَنزَلَ جُنُودًا لَمْ تَرَوْهَا. Allah ta'ala sent the malaika, sent the angels to assist the believers. That's why, subhanAllah, you find in the battle of Badr and others, you find that some of the disbelievers saying, we used to, in the battlefield, was hear a noise, we don't see anybody, and then the person next to me just loses his head, and we didn't see who hit him. It was one of the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the جنودا لم تروها. He said the angels, you can't see them. وعذب الذين كفروا. And he made them an instrument to punish the disbelievers. وذلك جزاء الكافرين. And that's the recompense of the disbelievers. ثم يتوب الله من بعد ذلك على من يشاء. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He يتوب على من يشاء. He accepts or he forgives whoever he was. Forgive people from what? What would he forgive people from? Subhanallah. One of the major sins, من الكبائر، من السبع الموبقات. تذكرون حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، حديث أبي هريرة، اجتنبوا السبع الموبقات، وذكر منها التولي يوم الزحف. And subhanallah, from the 7 deadly sins is to desert your brothers in the battlefield. And this is one of the major sins, subhanallah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave who He wills on that day. Wallahu ghafurur rahim. Allah ta'ala is forgiving. So why did I talk to you about this particular battle? To tell you what happened afterwards. But I'll give you the choice. We're at 15 minutes. Should I tell you what happens? It will take a little time. Or should I let you go back to bed? Show of hands. Who would like me to continue? MashaAllah. Who would like me to stop? Go home. Alhamdulillah. حديث أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال لما أعطى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أعطى من تلك العطايا. So Abu Sa'id is talking about what happened after the Battle of Hunayn, because it was tremendous amount of spoils of war, fortunes. There were fortunes, literally. فقال تلك العطايا, all those gifts, all those spoils. في قريش وفي قبائل العرب. So the Prophet ﷺ basically gave to Quraysh, that recently became Muslims, وقبائل العرب, and some of them, the Arab tribes, ولم يكن في الأنصار منها شيء, and he gave nothing to the Ansar, the people that came with him from Al-Madinah. He gave nothing to them, subhanallah. وسبحان الله وجد هذا الحي من الأنصار في أنفسهم. وجدوا في أنفسهم. They felt bad about it. They said, wait, why is the Prophet ﷺ giving these people and not giving us? We're the ones that came. We are the original people. Why isn't he giving us? حتى كثرت منهم القالة. حتى قال قائلهم قال القيل والقال سبحان الله. The people that the chatter started, increasing. People talking about this, And it's very easy in these situations for the shaitan to come and start whispering to people, and they start having these doubts in their mind. Everyone was talking about it. حتى قال قائلهم لقد لقي والله رسول الله قومه. سبحان الله. هذه العصبية القبلية خرجت. سبحان الله, the tribalism is showing up again. It's clear that the Prophet finally came back to his people. And he's giving them, and he's depriving us. فدخل عليه سعد بن عبادة. سعد بن عبادة رضي الله عنه came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال يا رسول الله إن هذا الحي من الأنصار قد وجدوا عليك. And the Ansar, and they have something in their hearts against the way that you distributed these spoils. سبحان الله. قد وجدوا عليك في أنفسهم بما صنعت. قال فيما صنعت في هذا الفيء, the way that you distributed these spoils. سبحان الله. قال قسمت في قومك وأعطيت عطايا عظاما في قبائل العرب. That when you distributed the spoils, you gave tremendous. He gave a lot of wealth to a lot of people from the tribes of the Arabs. ولم يكن في هذا الحي من الأنصار منها شيء, and he gave nothing to the Ansar. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم فأين أنت من ذلك يا سعد? What do you think? What about you, Sa'd? What is your opinion on this? قال يا رسول الله ما أنا إلا من قومي. I'm only a member of my people. قال فاجمع لي قومك في هذه الحظيرة. Now there was a حظيرة, place where they had the animals, they had the spoils and everything. It's like, how about you gather all of your people so I can talk to them. فخرج سعد فجمع الأنصار في تلك الحظيرة. Sa'd came out and he gathered all of the Ansar. قال فجاء رجال من المهاجرين فدخلوا وجاء آخرون. فالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم جاء الأنصار وجاء بعض من المهاجرين قبل منهم البعض ورد منهم البعض. The Muhajirin, the people that are originally from Mecca, some of them came, he accepted some of them in this particular meeting, and he turned back another group. He did not allow them to attend this. Subhanallah. فاجتمعوا له فأتاه سعد. When they gathered, Sa'd came. قال قد اجتمع لك هذا الحي من الأنصار. That the Ansar are gathered for you. فأتاهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فحمد الله ثم أثنى عليه بما هو أهله. أي سيخاطبهم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. He said, he gave the introduction because he's gonna talk to them. قال يا معشر الأنصار ما قاله أو مقالتكم قد بلغتني عنكم. Whatever it was said, that all that chatter, not chatter now. Maybe I'm hungry. Am I hungry? Give me a chatter sandwich with tuna. Anyways, all the talk, all the chatter got to me. Subhanallah, بلغتني عنكم وجدة وجدتموها علي في أنفسكم. وجدة شو هذا الكلام سبحان الله يعني وجدة وجدتموها علي في أنفسكم. That there is something that is making you unhappy, something that you find in your heart against me. Subhanallah. فقال لهم, to remind them of the bounty of Allah. ألم آتيكم طلابا فهداكم الله وفي رواية فهداكم الله بي. Didn't I come to you when you were misguided and Allah guided you because of me? وعارة فأغناكم الله, and you were poor, and because of you being with the Prophet you became wealthy. وأعداء فألف الله بين قلوبكم, and you were enemies, and Allah Ta'ala reconciled your hearts. What were the enemies? Because Aus and Khazraj always fighting. Now all of a sudden they became one. قالوا بلى الله ورسوله أمن وأفضل. This is the subhanallah, the Allah and His Messenger showered us with their fadl, with their bounties. ثم قال ألا تجيبوني يا معشر الأنصار. How about you answer me? Give me an answer. قالوا لماذا نجيبك يا رسول الله? What should we say يا رسول الله? قال لله ولرسوله المنة والفضل. He repeated that it is subhanallah a mercy and a generosity from Allah and His Messenger. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, وهذا ننظر إلى إنصاف الحبيب صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال أما والله لو شئتم لقلتم. By Allah, if you wanted, you could say. Subhanallah. فلصدقتم ولصدقتكم. And if you said this, what I'm about to say, you'll be right, and I will concur. آتيتنا مكذبا فصدقنا. You came to us while the majority of people have belied you, and we believed in you. مخذولا فنصرناك. Subhanallah, we had no one to support you, and we gave you the support, we gave you victory. وطريدا فأويناك, and you were kicked out of your home, but we took you in. Subhanallah. وعائلا سبحان الله فأسيناك, أي المواساة. عائلا, you were in need, and subhanallah, even with our wealth we give you support. Subhanallah. قال أوجدتم يا معشر الأنصار في أنفسكم في لعاعة من الدنيا. سبحان الله. تألفت بها قوما ليسلموا. لعاعة. سبحان الله. Did you find any in your heart about this mundane, insignificant piece of the dunya, du'a min al-dunya, that I'm using so I can win the hearts of these people so they can become Muslims? This is what the fuss is all about this du'a from the dunya, something that is insignificant. SubhanAllah. وَوَكَّلْتُكُمْ إِلَى إِسْلَامِكُمْ. SubhanAllah, I gave these people part of the dunya so that they will come to Islam. وَوَكَّلْتُكُمْ إِلَى إِسْلَامِكُمْ. And I am relying on the fact that you are already Muslims, that you will not find anything in your heart, that there will be enough for you, subhanallah. قال ألا ترضون يا معشر الأنصار أن يذهب الناس بالشاة والبعير وترجعون برسول الله إلى رحالكم. Wouldn't you be happy and satisfied that people will take a sheep and they'll take a camel, but you, on the other hand, will go back to your homes with the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with you. وشتان subhanallah. يعني من يرجعوا, people that be satisfied just to drag a sheep or 2 or 10 or drag a couple camels and go their separate way, and the people that will have the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with them. فوالذي نفس محمد بيده لولا الهجرة لكنت امرؤا من الأنصار. If it was not for the migration that Allah Ta'ala decreed, that I'll be born in a city and I'll migrate to another city, then I would want to be from the Ansar, originally from Al-Madinah. Subhanallah. ولو سلك الناس شعبا وسلكت الأنصار شعبا لسلكت شعب الأنصار. Subhanallah. If the people take one path, one narrow path, and the Ansar take another narrow path, I will go with the path of the Ansar. فبدأ يدعو لهم صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم ارحم الأنصار وأبناء الأنصار وأبناء أبناء الأنصار. That may Allah have mercy on the Ansar and their children and their grandchildren. He made dua for them صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال فبكى القوم حتى أخضلوا لحاهم. They cried so much, people cried so much, and they felt so bad about thinking that way, that after the Prophet ﷺ clarified, they saw that they were wrong. They cried so much that their beards were soaked. وقالوا رضينا برسول الله قسما. رضينا, we are pleased with having our share be the Prophet ﷺ, instead of having the sheep and the camels and the thing, the du'a of dunya. And we are pleased to have the Prophet ﷺ qasman wa hadda. We are pleased to have the Prophet ﷺ as our share. ثم انصرف رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وتفرقوا. Subhanallah. So this is an incident that took place after. And this, by the way, this hadith, we could start another series and just speak about this particular hadith. But a couple of things. The fact that when the affliction of wealth takes place, it becomes very easy for it to become a fitna, even with the Sahaba. And subhanAllah, when these things happen, it's very easy for the shaitan to whisper to people. And the most important thing, the most important idea that I'll close with, inshallah ta'ala, is the fact that the Prophet ﷺ showed us that for his migration for the sake of Allah to be complete, then he couldn't have possibly gone back to Mecca, which is his home, but his new home and his permanent home was Al-Madinah until he ﷺ died in it. That's how his own migration was completed, and the migration of those that went with him was completed as well, subhanAllah. And there are many benefits from this particular hadith that it's not our actual subject, but I just wanted to bring kind of a piece of the biography of the Prophet ﷺ to talk about this particular point. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow you and I to do the deeds that are pleasing to Him and never go back and try to change them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our good deeds, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala overlook our transgressions. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا. تفضل.
Can you please tell us, if you don't mind, any sabah mubiqat? Can you remind us, please?
I'm sorry?
Can you please remind us ما هي السبع موبقات؟
سبع موبقات؟
Please.
النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال اجتنبوا السبع موبقات. قالوا ما هن يا رسول الله؟ قال الشرك بالله والسحر سبحان الله. قال الشرك بالله والسحر وأكل مال اليتيم وأكل الربا وقذف التولي يوم الزحف. There's another one missing before قذف المحصنات المؤمنات الغافلة. فالشرك بالله والقتل، لا الشرك بالله والسحر لا قتل المحصنات وأكل مال اليتيم. شرك بالله والسحر وأكل مال اليتيم وأكل الربا سبحان الله قتل النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق وعقوبة في هذا الحديث الثاني اللي فيه يعني كان يعني متكئا فجلس قال الإشراك بالله وعقوق الوالدين. هذا نرجع منه فالشرك بالله والسحر وأكل مال اليتيم وأكل الربا وقتل النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق والتولي والزحف وقذف المحصنات المؤمنات الغافلات. So the translation, to commit shirk, the shirk in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fall in sihr, witchcraft, na'udhu billahi min dhalik. وقلنا الثالثة تذكرون أكل مال اليتيم, to devour the wealth of the orphan, وأكل الربا, and to devour usury, na'udhu billah, وقتل النفس, to kill a soul that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made forbidden, والتولي والزحف, and to run from the battlefield the day of that and desert your brothers, and to slander al-muhsanat, the married women that are heedless. They're not there, or to slander women that are married behind their backs. These are the 7 deadly sins. And by the way, Ibn Mas'ud, he was asked, someone told him, alhamdulillah, the deadly sins are only 7. He said, may your mother lose you, تكلفك أمك بل هي أكثر من 70. It is more than 70, but these are the ones that the Prophet ﷺ, some major ones that the Prophet ﷺ chose in this particular hadith to warn us about, to stay away from them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you.